Hiya! So for anyone that has seen anything on my channel before, you'll know it's mostly full of upbeat and comedy type videos, stuff like that. But today's video isn't necessarily along those lines. So we're going to be talking about the big D, depression. I think everybody at some point in their lives has been affected by depression, whether it be directly or whether it be because someone they know has suffered from it. It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible. I mean, it obviously varies from person to person and in different degrees. But today I'm more going to be talking about day-to-day depression. So stuff that gets you down. Now, I myself have suffered with depression and anxiety as well for many years. And it comes and it goes. Sometimes it can be so bad I feel like I don't want to do anything, I don't want to go anywhere, I don't want to speak to anyone. And other days it can just be a kind of feeling of meh, and it's not as bad. But when it is there, it's hard to ignore. So I just thought I'd come up with a little list of ideas that can help day to day with depression. So obviously these little ideas I've written down may not help in the long run. You'll still probably need to talk to someone or go and seek help from a doctor. But they're just little ways that you can kind of rejig your mind so that you feel a little bit better about feeling down. So the first thing on my list is to do at least one productive thing during the day. So it can be first thing when you get up. If you, I don't know, just make your bed, or just put a load of washing into wash, or you tidy up a part of your room or your house. Anything, it doesn't matter how small it is, but if it's like housework or something you've been putting off, just do it so it's out the way. Also, I found what is good is if I make a list of stuff I want to get done throughout the day, when I tick it off finally, no matter how long it takes me, it's a positive. It's, oh yes, I'm feeling crap today, but I've managed to do that, so that's good. Next up is a little bit of a naff piece of advice, but it's let light in. Sometimes if you're feeling depressed, you just kind of want to curl up in the house on the sofa just watching telly all day, but just by opening the curtains or the blinds sometimes and seeing the outside, it's like a connection to it, so you feel a bit more, I don't know, like sometimes I feel a little bit trapped being in the house all the time, and that kind of feeds my depression. But if I feel a little bit more connected to the outside, it's almost like a sense of freedom. And I think it's true what people say, sunshine boosts your mood, so let it in. Even on a dull day, it does help. The next piece of advice is to just go for a walk. Even if you're not feeling like it, or you've got very little motivation, maybe just try to go out, even if it's for a 5-minute walk around the block, anything. If your family has a dog, they come in very handy, because you know you can't ignore a dog. If they want to go out for a poo, you got to go take them. So yeah, it's good, and it gets your endorphins going, even if you're only out for 10 minutes. And also it's another boost to you, because you can think, oh, I've done that today, so it makes you feel a little bit better. So the next piece of advice is to get dressed, or get ready in some way. So instead of sitting around in your pajamas, you're dressing down all day, which believe me, I've done, and I know it's very tempting when you're feeling down. You don't want to do anything. Getting ready is such an effort. But I've found in the past that if I make the effort to put my makeup on, to put some clothes on, and to just brush my hair a bit, even if it's just quickly running it through, it makes me feel better. For me, improving my appearance by getting ready, doing my face, it makes me feel better and more confident, even if it's slightly. And I find that it makes you more motivated, because there's nothing worse for me than staying in my dressing gown all day, because it is an instant demotivator. The next one is really good if you're on your own for the day, or if you live alone, and that's putting music on, or even to put the TV on just so you've got some background noise, because there's nothing worse than sitting in silence and being left alone with your own thoughts, especially when you're feeling pretty lousy. Maybe even put on some throwback tunes, you know, a bit of 90s house. Always cheers me up, I've got to say. Yeah, most people on YouTube now probably weren't even born when that kind of music dropped, so I'm showing my age, aren't I? Now, the next one could be a little bit of an effort if you're not feeling up to talking to anyone. If you are feeling really down and lonely, and just in that place where you feel like no one cares, because those kind of thoughts always seem to trigger with me when I'm down and depressed. my piece of advice here would be to message someone, or to even call someone if you feel up to it. It's nice to connect with people when you feel like that, because it will remind you that people do care, and it also, for me, sometimes makes me feel needed. It reminds me that actually people do like to talk to me, because sometimes depression can play tricks with you and make you think no one cares about you, no one gives a shit about your opinion. But if you start connecting with old friends and your family members, it kind of helps you out of it and gives you a boost. I've felt down so many times over the winter months, and I have a little phone call with my family members, and there are certain family members that I'll talk to for half an hour and immediately my mood is just up here because they make me laugh, and then I get myself back because I like to make people laugh too, so we bounce off each other. And if you've got someone like that in your life, then contact them. Just someone you know isn't going to be negative, that can just help you boost your mood again. The next one could work for some people, may not work for others, but I like doing it myself, and that's looking at old photographs. So if I'm feeling a bit down, sometimes I'll go back and scroll through old albums on Facebook from Christmas or birthdays or holidays, just fun times. And it's a nice way to kind of remind yourself of who you are. That sounds really weird, but sometimes I'll go back through and I'll be like, wow, I've changed since then. And part of me wants to get back the girl I see in old photographs, and it's nice sometimes. I get for some people this may be tricky, because I have this too. I look at old photos and it doesn't bring back the best memories, but for the most part it's nice. I think it's a nice thing, and it's nice reminiscing at times. The next piece of advice may be a little bit obvious and a little bit rubbish, but I'm going to include it anyway, and that's reading a book. I think if you're in such a deep state of hating your life, hating everything that's going on in it, then the only option really is to escape into another world. So maybe read a book that's really removed from your own reality, so like Harry Potter, things like that. Yeah, I personally love reading fantasy books, because obviously that's not real life, so I can completely remove my mind from what's going on with me. The next one isn't the easiest when you're feeling down, because I get the whole lack of motivation. It is hard to find that motivation when you're feeling so rubbish, but engaging in a hobby of any kind does help, I find. So for me recently, when I've been feeling a little bit down, I've liked to work on my video ideas for my channel, and to be honest, it gets my motivation going again, doing stuff like that. So I think coming up with ideas and doing something creative, it can help sometimes. And another thing that I found works well for me in particular is the adult colouring books. I mean, you can do it while you're watching telly, while you've got music on. You don't really have to put a lot of concentration in it, but it kind of takes your mind off your situation a little bit, even if it's just for a few minutes. So it's nice, and it is relaxing. And the last one on my list is to pamper yourself, and that can be just taking time away from your family, from your friends, other half, whatever, and just going to do something for you. I mean, some people don't like pampering. Like for me, for example, I'm not really into face masks. I'm not into all that expensive kind of skincare and having a whole evening to pamper myself. But even just having 2 minutes of peace away from my kids to go and have a bath and, you know, just chill for a minute, that's enough for me. And sometimes you need it. Even if it's just, I don't know, light some candles, have a bath bomb, that kind of shit. Do it. I really hope these ideas can help somebody. They're just little things that I've found help, because I do get kind of agitated and down sometimes, just with lots of different things, and just using a few of these things I've mentioned, they do help me out of it sometimes. I've gone through a whole video without being really sarcastic, which is probably a first actually. Oh, look, I'm doing it now. Take care, and I'll see you soon.